Welcome to the gaming news of the week. The first news of the week is about Manor. Manor has kicked off its early access with a strong start, becoming an undeniable success on its first day, as well as one of the top indie games of 2024 so far. If you're not yet familiar with this title, Manor is a city building and strategy game set in a medieval era, which has been one of the major draws for many users. The early success is even more impressive considering it's developed by Slavic Magic, a studio that had not released any games until now and is headed by only one developer, making this a solo project. As confirmed by Manor's publisher Hooded Horse, Manor has managed to reach a peak of 170,000 unique users on Steam, a figure usually only within reach of major IPs and viral hits. Manor has not yet confirmed the release for other platforms, and for now, it's only planned for release on PC. However, it wouldn't be the first title of this kind to make the leap to consoles, and this success could be a significant push in that direction. If it looks interesting to you, you can find it on Steam as well as the Microsoft Game Pass. Moving on, we have some news from Hades 2. Developer Supergiant Games has stated that they have completed their technical test, which served to correct technical errors and present a better version of Hades 2 for its early access release. According to Supergiant, after concluding this testing phase aimed at identifying problems and errors, the game will arrive relatively shortly in its early access version. Unfortunately, the test is no longer available in the Steam libraries of users who had the opportunity to participate. In case you weren't clued in, Hades 2 is the sequel to Hades, a critically acclaimed roguelite from 2020. The protagonist of Hades 2 is going to be Melinoë, the daughter of Hades and the sister of Zagreus, the protagonist from the first game. The original game was praised for its character design, incredible visual effects, and its clever take on a roguelike narrative, and Hades 2 seems to be more of the same. For those of you who loved Hades 1 for all of these aspects, you can be rest assured that Hades 2 will be bringing back all of that in a fresh light. Moving on, we have some news about Starfield. Despite the enormous anticipation for Starfield prior to its release, it didn't achieve the resounding success of other Bethesda games such as The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, only managing to receive one nomination in the Game Awards 2023. Nevertheless, Bethesda keeps adding content to the game. Now, director Todd Howard confirmed that the game's first expansion, called Shattered Space, will arrive this autumn. The news was announced thanks to an interview with Todd Howard, the creative director who also serves as the executive producer of Bethesda Game Studios. In the interview, he talked about the future of Starfield and specifically mentioned the Shattered Space expansion. While Todd Howard did not confirm a specific release date, he did state that it will be released this fall, which begins in late September after the game's first anniversary. Details about Shattered Space are still scarce, but last December, Bethesda had mentioned that the expansion will add a new story, new maps, new equipment for the characters, and more. In addition to Shattered Space, the game continues to receive updates of various sizes. Todd Howard mentioned that the next game update, which will include elements related to shipbuilding, will be announced in the coming days. Also, the director talked about an upcoming major update that will be released very soon. Starfield is available for Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, and PC. According to various rumors, Starfield would be one of those that could potentially lose its exclusivity in the future to arrive on PlayStation 5 as well. Next is some news about the new Shin Megami Tensei 5 expansion. This week, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance had a new trailer released titled An Ideal World, gearing up for the release of the expanded version of the game. Vengeance is coming to PC, Steam Deck, PS4, PS5, Xbox, and Switch, in the style of Persona 5 Royale with an expanded version and a new trailer by Atlus and Sega. The upcoming release in the Shin Megami Tensei Saga will add over 75 hours of new content to complete the full vision of the RPG. The DLC will explore a completely new route known as the Canon of Vengeance, centered on themes of revenge and retribution. The story is centered on new characters and a powerful group of female demons, the Quaristo, who weave their dark designs apart from the war between defenders of order and those who seek to defy it. The Vengeance version of Shin Megami Tensei 5 arrives on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC via Steam and Microsoft Store in June 2024. Next up is some news about Lost Ark. This week, Amazon shared a new roadmap for the free MMORPG Lost Ark, detailing the most significant updates coming to the game during the months of May, June, and July of 2024. The current roadmap showcases the new content coming over the next 3 months, highlighting Thamine's Epilogue, the Guardian's Assault Trial Hanumatan, Chaos Assault, and much more. Thamine's Epilogue is a story that will be available to players who have completed the mission in hard mode, and it recounts the events related to the invasion of Arkesia by that character. In the same month, the Prelude of Curzon also arrives. The press release states that players will have to head to Mount Zagros, where chaos has settled, and defeat hordes of enemies by venturing into the distorted chaos rifts that will open on said mountain. The second part of the event arrives in June, when the desert region of Curzon also debuts with the Ark of the Red Moon and the possible return of the Demon Lord Kazeros. Changing the tone to something more cheerful and summery, we also have the Maharaka Festival in July. It takes us to a paradise located in the Sea of Gina, where players will compete in charming swimming races. So if you guys are still having fun in Lost Ark, or maybe you're interested in picking up, definitely check these events out. Next we have some news about Rise of Ronin and its sale performance. Koei Tecmo, alongside Team Ninja, the development studio behind Rise of the Ronin, announced that the title is managing to perform better in sales than Nioh 1 and Nioh 2. Recently launched in March and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment, the PlayStation 5 exclusive game is experiencing a faster sales pace than the first two games in the Nioh saga, although its specific numbers were not provided. This comes as kind of a shock. The Nioh franchise managed to reach 7 million units sold in October 2022. However, Team Ninja did not clarify the figures for each game in the series, and they didn't share the numbers for the remaster of the first installment. All in all though, thanks to the design, gameplay, and the open world, Rise of the Ronin was generally well received by both critics and fans as a great game. Speculation has begun about the possible arrival of the game on PC in the medium or short term to reach the PC audience interested in getting the game. We have a review up at the channel, so if you're interested in getting the game, you should check it out. Moving on, we have some bad news from Square Enix. Square Enix has recently revealed that they have suffered losses of $140 million due to content abandonment, when making adjustments to products that were already in progress, and even last-minute cancellations in game design. As a result, the company intends to be more selective with its projects in the future. Square Enix has been one of the publishers with the most releases each year in recent years, which includes some of the best RPGs in history. When the new CEO Takashi Kiryu took the office, he confirmed that he wanted to make fewer video games to better concentrate on their quality. Unfortunately, it seems that this sentiment has cost the company several $1 million. We learned about this through a recent news release sent to Square Enix investors. The company expects to recognize approximately 22.1 billion yen in losses due to abandoned content for the fiscal year ended in March 2024. Unfortunately, we don't have much information about which projects have been cancelled. As confirmed, the sales of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth are slightly lower than those of Remake, but it doesn't end there. Final Fantasy VII as a whole did not sell as expected, and other small projects also fell below expectations. We can't be certain what this means for Square Enix in the future yet, so we'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. Next up is some big news for the future of Elden Ring. Even though it may be hard to believe, Elden Ring has been out for over 2 years. Since its release in February 2022, Hidetaka Miyazaki's game firmly established itself as one of the industry's best titles. After winning several awards, including Game of the Year at the Game Awards, many have been eagerly anticipating the game's first expansion, Shadow of the Erdtree. However, this week, Miyazaki confirmed that this will be the only expansion for Elden Ring in the future. The news came from an interview with Miyazaki from a Chinese media outlet. There, Miyazaki spoke about Elden Ring and its future expansion, where he was very clear about the game's downloadable content. Shadow of the Erdtree is the first and last DLC, and we have no plans to add more content to Elden Ring. As justification, Miyazaki explained clearly what led the team to make this decision. Elden Ring emphasizes exploration and adventure in a vast world. To provide that experience, a large and expansive setting is inevitably needed. So instead of dividing it into several parts, it was simply better to create a large expansion. If sold separately, the freedom of exploration and the sense of adventure would be diminished. However, Miyazaki did not rule out returning to the Elden Ring universe in another game. In the interview, he was asked about the future of the title as a franchise, and Miyazaki simply stated that the studio intentionally leaves the endings of its games open-ended. In March, there was another interview with a North American media outlet. The director left the door open for a possible sequel, stating, "We don't want to say this is the end of the Elden Ring saga for now." From Software's relationship with DLC content varies from game to game, and it seems to depend entirely on the project and what the team wishes to develop with it. Dark Souls 3, for example, had 2 expansions, while Dark Souls 2 had a trilogy. Dark Souls and Bloodborne, like Elden Ring, only had a single expansion. With that being said, it looks like we might be in for one of the biggest expansions we have seen in recent gaming. We will definitely be covering it, so keep on the lookout. Lastly, for the news of the week is some Dune leaks. Dune Awakening is the new MMO which is scheduled to be released later this year on PS5, Xbox, and PC. Funcom showcased its gameplay a few weeks ago, and now 4 images of the interface and gameplay have been leaked in a post on Reddit. 3 of them belong to the character creator, one revealing over 20 hairstyle options, and another showing all the options for the node design, from height to angle to bridger width. Since these are leaked images, they are not in high resolution, but at least we can see what the user interface and gameplay of Dune Awakening look like. The third image refers to the character class and defines the characteristics of the Mentats order, humans trained in the Mentat art who function as computers. They are adepts capable of storing and analyzing large amounts of information at superhuman speed. By choosing it in the game, the character will be able to scan enemies and nearby objects to gather information about them. The last leaked image corresponds to building construction and shows part of the interface, specifically the walls. Comments on the Reddit post suggest that these images come from what the press could see at PAX East and GGC. We don't know exactly when the game will be released, but these UI leaks are somewhat promising as we can definitely see that they are far along the development line. So that's about it for this week's news. If you're interested in supporting the channel, be sure to leave a comment, let us know what you think about all the news, and check out our VIP subscription on the website for some exclusive supporter benefits. We'll be seeing you next week.